how dependency exclusion works and when to use it as a last resort in Maven. Now we are considering how dependency exclusion works and when to use it as a last resort. This diagram shows that the project A depends on both project B and C. Project B depends on project D, and project D depends on both E and F. By default, project A's class path will include B, C, and D, E, and F. Suppose you don't want project D and its dependencies to be added to project A's class path because some of D's dependencies are missing from the repository, and you don't need the functionality of B that depends on project D's anyway. Project B's developers could mark the dependency on project D optional true, and if you deploy project A to a repository and project X declares a normal dependency on the project A, will project D still excluded from the class path? The answer is yes. The project A has declared that it doesn't need project D to run, so it won't be both in as a transitive dependency in project A if you declare if you remove it from the class path. Now consider the project X depends on project Y as in the diagram here. Project Y also has a dependency on project B, and it does need a feature supported by project D. Therefore, it will not place an exclusion on project D in its transitive list. It may also supply an additional repository from which it can resolve the project E. In this case, it is important that project D is not excluded globally, since it's a legitimate dependency of project Y. Another scenario, suppose dependency you don't want is project E instead of project D. How do you exclude it? See the diagram here. Exclusion entire dependency graph below the point where they are declared. If you want to exclude project E instead of project D, simply change the exclusion to the point at project E, but you don't move the exclusion down to project D. You cannot change project D's POM. If you could, you would use optional dependencies instead of exclusion. So split project D up to multiple sub-projects, each with nothing but normal dependencies. Now, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for watching it.